You've felt it, haven't you? That nagging sense that you're waiting for something that never arrives, like there's a version of yourself, brighter, more powerful, more complete, but always just out of reach. You watch other people living their gifts, creating, manifesting, shining, and you wonder, why not me? Why not yet? Here's the truth nobody tells you. The universe isn't denying you your gift. It's protecting you from it, because a gift given before its time isn't a blessing. It's a weight that can destroy you. Think about it. A diamond handed to someone who doesn't yet know its value will be traded for glass. A flame given to trembling hands will burn everything down, including itself. The universe doesn't hide your gift out of cruelty. It hides it out of love. It waits, not for your perfection, but for your readiness, for the frequency of your soul to match the magnitude of what you're about to receive. Right now, in this very moment, there is something dormant inside you. Not dead, not absent, just waiting. A talent you've never fully explored. A capacity you felt pulsing at the edges of your awareness but could never quite grasp. A calling that whispers to you but disappears when you try to name it. And you wonder if you're crazy, if you're imagining things, if it's just wishful thinking, fantasy, ego, but it's not. It's real, more real than anything you can touch. It's your hidden gift, and it's waiting for you to become the person capable of carrying it. Most people spend their lives chasing their gifts like they're chasing butterflies. The more you run, the further they fly. The more you force, the more exhausted you become. You try techniques, formulas, shortcuts. You consume content about manifestation, visualization, affirmations, and still the gift remains untouched. Because you're looking in the wrong place. You're trying to grab something that can only be received. You're trying to force open a door that only opens from the inside out. Here's what's really happening. The universe, life, consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, doesn't operate on demand. It operates on frequency. It doesn't respond to your wants. It responds to your vibration. And your gift, that hidden talent you've been searching for, it has a frequency of its own, an energetic signature. And until you match that frequency, until you become the person whose energy resonates with the gift you seek, it will remain invisible, not as punishment, but by divine design. Imagine an underground river. It's always been there, flowing, alive, infinite, but you can't see it from the surface. You walk over it every day, thirsty, searching for water elsewhere, not knowing you're literally standing on top of the source. Until one day, something shifts. Maybe the earth gives way, maybe you dig deep enough, maybe the internal pressure of the river finally finds a crack, and suddenly, water bursts forth, not because the river appeared, but because you finally reached the depth where it always was. Your gifts work the same way. They don't appear, they emerge, and they can only emerge when you create the internal conditions for their manifestation, when you stop chasing them and start becoming the kind of person through whom they naturally flow. Carl Jung said something profound. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your gifts aren't hidden in the light. They're buried in your shadow, in the parts of yourself you've rejected, in the wounds you haven't healed, in the fears you haven't faced, in the versions of yourself you've been too afraid to become. This is why the universe waits. Because if you received your gift right now, in your current state, with your current wounds, with your current fears, you would use it to hide. You would use it to seek validation. You would use it to prove your worth. You would weaponize it against your own insecurity. And a gift used from woundedness doesn't create beauty, it creates chaos. Think about the people who got their gifts too early, the child actor who becomes addicted to applause and loses themselves in the spotlight, the artist who tastes success before developing character and implodes under pressure, the entrepreneur who makes millions before learning humility and destroys everything with their ego. The spiritual teacher who gains followers before doing their inner work and becomes another wounded guru, creating wounded followers. You've seen it. The gift becomes a curse. The blessing becomes a prison. The talent that should have liberated them ends up destroying them. The universe knows this. It sees you, not just who you are now, but who you're capable of becoming. And it refuses to give you your gift until you're strong enough to hold it, until you're grounded enough to wield it, until you're healed enough to not misuse it. This isn't deprivation. This is sacred protection. This is love in its most patient form. So what is the universe waiting for? What does readiness actually look like? It's not about perfection. It's not about having all your problems solved. It's not about becoming someone you're not. Readiness is about energy. It's about frequency. It's about who you are when nobody's watching. It's about the relationship you have with yourself when the world isn't applauding. Readiness is when you stop seeking external validation and start trusting your internal knowing. When you no longer need the gift to prove your worth because you've already claimed your worth from within. When you can imagine having your gift and it doesn't change how you see yourself because you've already become whole without it. That's when you're ready. When the gift becomes an extension of who you already are, not a replacement for who you think you should be. Readiness is when you've done the shadow work. When you've faced the parts of yourself you've been running from. When you've made peace with your darkness instead of pretending it doesn't exist, because your gift will magnify everything. If you're unhealed, it will magnify your wounds. If you're whole, it will magnify your light. The universe waits for you to choose which one you want amplified. Readiness is when you've learned patience, when you've stopped forcing, hustling, pushing, grinding your way toward what you want, and started surrendering to the timing of what wants to come through you. When you trust the process enough to let it unfold rather than trying to control every step, because your gift isn't something you achieve, it's something you allow. And allowance requires trust, deep, unwavering, sometimes terrifying trust. Readiness is when you've developed the discipline to hold the gift once it arrives. Because here's what nobody tells you: receiving the gift is the easy part. Sustaining it is where most people fail. You've seen it happen. Someone gets their breakthrough, their moment, their opportunity, and then they can't maintain it. They crumble under pressure. They self-sabotage. They return to old patterns because they weren't ready. They had the gift, but not the container. They had the power, but not the structure. The universe knew this would happen. That's why it waited. So the question isn't, when will I receive my gift? The question is, who am I becoming while I wait? Because the waiting isn't wasted time. The waiting is the preparation. Every challenge you face is building your capacity. Every wound you heal is clearing the channel. Every fear you confront is raising your frequency. Every moment you choose growth over comfort is bringing you closer to resonance with what's already yours. Your gift is not somewhere out there. It's not in the future. It's not locked behind some arbitrary timeline. It's already inside you, right now, waiting. Watching, feeling for the moment when your energy matches its potential, when your vibration aligns with its frequency, when your consciousness expands enough to hold what it wants to give you. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop desperately needing the gift is often the moment it appears, because desperation is a low frequency, need is a low frequency, lack is a low frequency, and your gift cannot descend into lack. It can only emerge into wholeness, into sufficiency, into the energy of already having before you physically have. This is the frequency shift that changes everything. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Your gift has fully emerged. You're living it, breathing it, creating from it. People are experiencing your work, your art, your wisdom, your healing, and someone asks you, how did this happen? How did you unlock this? What would you say? Would you tell them about the technique you learned, the course you took, the affirmation you repeated, or would you tell them the truth? that you stopped chasing, that you went inward, that you healed the wounds that were blocking the channel, that you became the person the gift was waiting for. This is the shift that's available to you right now, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, you can decide, in this moment, to stop seeking your gift outside yourself and start cultivating the inner conditions for its emergence. You can decide to stop proving and start becoming, to stop forcing and start allowing, to stop performing and start embodying. What does this look like practically? It looks like doing the inner work even when it's uncomfortable, sitting with your shadows instead of running from them, feeling your feelings instead of numbing them, healing your trauma instead of bypassing it with spiritual concepts, building a relationship with yourself that's so solid, so loving, so complete, that you don't need external validation to know your worth. It looks like developing your gift in private before you share it publicly, practicing when nobody's watching, creating when nobody's applauding, honing your craft, not for likes or followers or recognition, but because the act of creation itself is the reward. Because you're building the skill, the discipline, the dedication that will allow you to sustain the gift when it fully activates. It looks like trusting divine timing even when it doesn't make logical sense, even when everyone around you seems to be moving faster. Even when it feels like you're being left behind, trusting that your path is your path, your timing is your timing, your gift will emerge exactly when it's meant to, not a moment before, not a moment after. It looks like raising your frequency daily, through meditation, through movement, through nature, through music, through whatever practices connect you to something larger than yourself. Because your gift exists at a higher frequency than your everyday consciousness. You have to consistently elevate yourself to where it lives. You have to meet it halfway. You have to climb the mountain while it descends from the peak. And it looks like letting go of how you think it should look. Your gift might not arrive the way you imagined. It might not look like what you see on social media. It might be quieter, simpler, more subtle, but no less powerful, no less profound, no less yours. The universe doesn't give you someone else's gift. It gives you the one specifically designed for your soul's purpose. Trust that, honor that, receive that. Here's what happens when you align with this truth. When you stop chasing and start becoming. When you stop forcing and start allowing. Life begins to orchestrate itself around your readiness. Opportunities that seemed impossible suddenly appear. People who can support your gift mysteriously enter your life. Resources flow. Doors open. Synchronicities multiply. Not because you got lucky, but because you matched the frequency of what was always meant for you. Your gift begins to emerge naturally, organically, inevitably. It might start small. A whisper. A nudge, a quiet knowing, a moment where you do something and it feels like coming home, like remembering rather than learning, like channeling rather than creating. And you realize, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what's been waiting for me. And as it emerges, you understand why the wait was necessary. You see how unprepared you were before. How you would have misused it, how you would have hurt yourself with it, how you would have built on shaky ground, and instead of resentment for the waiting, you feel gratitude. Deep, profound, humbling gratitude for the universe's patience, for its protection, for its perfect timing. You begin to use your gift not from ego but from service, not to prove yourself but to express yourself. Not to fill the void inside you, but to pour from the fullness you've cultivated. And this changes everything. The quality of your work transforms. The impact deepens. The joy multiplies. Because you're no longer creating from lack. You're creating from overflow. You're not trying to get something from your gift. You're giving something through it. People feel the difference. They sense the authenticity. They recognize the frequency. And they're drawn not just to your gift, but to your energy, to the groundedness, to the wholeness, to the peace that radiates from someone who's done the inner work and received what they're ready for. You become not just someone with a gift, but someone who embodies the journey of earning it. And that embodiment inspires others more than the gift itself ever could. This is the transformation available to you, not someday. Now, in this moment, you can decide to trust that your gift is already inside you, that the universe isn't withholding it, but preparing you for it, that every experience, every challenge, every moment of waiting is part of the sacred process of readiness. You can decide to stop looking outside and start going within, to stop chasing and start becoming, to stop demanding and start allowing. Your gift is not hiding from you, it's waiting for you, waiting for your energy to rise, waiting for your wounds to heal, waiting for your consciousness to expand, waiting for you to become the person capable of holding its magnitude. And the moment you truly embody that readiness, the moment your frequency matches its potential, it will emerge, not because you finally did enough, but because you finally became enough. Because you finally remembered that you always were enough. The gift was just waiting for you to know it too. So stop searching for what's already inside you. Stop chasing what's already yours. Start the inner work. Face your shadows. Heal your wounds. Raise your frequency. Trust the timing. Become the person your gift has been waiting for. And watch as what was hidden becomes revealed, as what was dormant becomes alive, as what was distant becomes your reality. The universe is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally. And your hidden gift? It's not a punishment for unworthiness. It's a promise of becoming, an invitation to transform, a sacred contract between who you are and who you're meant to be. Honor that contract, do the work, trust the process, and receive what's already yours. If this resonated with something deep inside you, if you felt that recognition, that remembering, that knowing, then honor it. Not by just consuming and moving on, but by taking action on what you now understand. Like and subscribe not because I asked, but because you're choosing to stay connected to your own awakening. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, go inward. Start the work. Become ready. Your gift is waiting.